seeing things in a live demonstration is sometimes better than seeing a 3D image portrayed. There's nowhere to hide in a live demonstration, as we've seen today. People were asking various questions about the SLAM technology, the lily pad technology, and how all of that can be brought together. And especially around picking assets out on the bottom of the pond here. But not only that, but be able to show people on the screen the actual images on a live feed, so no delay. So that in itself portrays excellence, if you like, through the technologies. So being able to do that, people can see and make judgments in live time. You can then overlay that image in 2 months' time, so you could do it the same area, but then overlay to see if you've removed the asset or the asset's still there. So that, to me, was one of the greatest developments from today.
So I've been involved in this program for about 2 years now. And one of the things I wanted to see was that this capability can define a point of interest. So for instance, on our legacy ponds, we have to decommission, remove inventory. So it'll be really useful for us to be able to define a data set, and then for us to actually survey and prove sort of accountability that we've got those items retrieved and that they're able to be sentenced out from the pond.
What we've seen so far with the technology and the way that this technology has advanced is absolutely fantastic. It just shows that we've got a very capable supply chain, with some real clever people out in the supply chain willing to help us satisfy our challenges. So it's encouraging. It's a huge advancement from what we've seen in the previous drop. The benefits for us back within Sellafield is we need to look at removing operators from these harsh environments. Typically, things are done through teleoperational controls. What we're seeing demonstrated here is the potential for autonomous processes where we can map live environments, we can see what's going on in our harsh environments, but not only that, it's got the collision avoidance systems built in and the communications that we so desperately need from down within the pond. So I think it's tackling a lot of different discrete areas for us to utilise within the business.
So Rovco is obviously an offshore company, and we provide services for inspection and maintenance for offshore assets such as renewables. And I guess this is a very growing market, particularly now with climate change. And so we see autonomy as being at the forefront of the services that we can provide in these particular areas. But the whole challenge of this particular project was removing people from those hazardous and dangerous environments. And one of the key things is increasing the distance between the operators and the environment they're working in. And the easiest way to do that is to make the vehicle remotely controlled and remotely operated. Some of the challenges you have, of course, is that as you increase the distance between the operator and the tools which they're using, you have increased latency and other challenges which generally make it very difficult to operate. So technologies such as the advanced perception system and autonomy and mapping capabilities enables us to use the autonomy to provide the appropriate assistance to the pilot so it can still be controlled in a safe and meaningful way within the pond.
So today we've demonstrated looking at the pond floor and portraying images of the pond floor. You could actually use it on the pond wall, possibly for determining the length of radiation that's in the pond wall. So there's various uses from the technology. And I think that with further development, this can become a single modular approach. So if somebody just needed the LRE capability to stop things colliding in ponds, then that is one aspect that could be used. If you were looking for actual wireless technology, so the lily pad as an example, that could be taken away and used in its own environment. The SLAM technology could be used in its own environment. So just with 3 parts of the project, the actual estates that it could be used on is huge, and that's just within the NDA estate. Then you could use it in Europe and then global on top of that. So I think that the deliverables from this project and the escalation could be fantastic.
The most significant technology I've seen Rovco show today at Forth in these trials was the autonomous ability to recreate a scene that hadn't been seen by the robot before. So the robot's able to go in with its sensor package, it's got no prior knowledge of where it's been before, and begin reconstructing that environment for future uses. It means that you don't have to have a prior knowledge of the environment, so this is fantastic in a decommissioning sense when you don't necessarily know what is down there, what's underwater. And it means that you can start looking at removing people from what is a hazardous environment, putting them on shore and making it safer and more efficient.
So there's a number of different aspects of the technology that we've demonstrated today. From our perspective in D-RisQ, we've demonstrated that we can alter the capability of the large response engine, soon to be trademarked as Heimdall safety critical decision-making software. And we've shown that we can be flexible in changing the way in which that behaves very quickly and be able to take in new sensors and new information and then make a proper sound decision on that. We've also developed a safety summary for that, a safety case for the use of that, and that complies with all the nuclear regulations, and that's been presented to both Sellafield and crucially to the Office for Nuclear Regulation to have a look at. So specifically with this demonstration today with Sellafield, what happens next is we're looking to say, having demonstrated all the various technologies with the vast majority of it integrated and shown how it all works, we then say, right, okay, we took the use case that you gave us and we want to be able to now specifically develop something to go into one of those pools with all those technologies fully integrated onto a specific tasking vehicle. And we see that happening within the next couple of months.
So, as you've seen during the demonstration, we had several of the SMEs that are from the Sellafield site. Each of them have got bespoke challenges that we're trying to help satisfy across the whole organisation. From my perspective, to give that cross-cutting value, we need to then start to extract each of these challenges and the tools that they've seen today, the elements of the tools that will help fit them challenges. What I'd like to do then is to drive each of these differently into different directions, but to give a wholehearted sort of deployment for each of these in our facilities.
It is exciting. I've worked on other programs with other companies and this is the furthest we've got towards achieving the requirements we need for not only inspection intervention of items that we have within our facilities, but also taking that technology wider, not only within Sellafield Enterprise, but also it's the NDA estate, it's the wider piece across the UK sort of nuclear programmes as we move into decommissioning.